What's going on, guys? Briar Rabbit here. Today we're going to take a look at some of my favorite year one weapons in Update 2.0. So obviously next week we're going to have access to a whole bunch of brand new weapons, and they're going to come with random rolls and new mods, and it's going to be just a cornucopia of new stuff, and that's going to be really fun. But what I wanted to talk about today were some of my favorite year one weapons that are performing really well in Update 2.0. And specifically, we're going to be talking about the Crucible here. I have not played a bunch of PvE since the update. I've really been focused on the Crucible experience, and there's been so many changes to the weapon system and time to kill in the Crucible that some of the weapons that were really good have kind of fallen out of favor. Some of them are even better than they were before, and there's some brand new kind of, rise to the top type of weapons that I really want to talk about here today. So to do this, we're going to be looking through the inventory on my Hunter. I've moved kind of my favorite weapons that I've been using over the last, 18 hours of gameplay that I've tested out, I've really liked, and I'm going to talk about why I like them, some of the drawbacks on them, and why I think that they're still going to be a usable part of my inventory moving into the Forsaken DLC. So we're going to start off with my favorite weapon of year one, the Midnight Coup. This gun is absolutely amazing. The reason it's amazing is because of Outlaw and Rampage. Those two perks are great for PvE and PvP. It's just a phenomenal weapon. The perks are great. The recoil pattern takes some getting used to, especially if you are more used to something like the Dire Promise. It's the same 150 round per minute, but it's got a slightly, I think, easier to use recoil pattern on the Dire Promise. The Midnight Coup takes a little more getting used to, but I think it's worth it because the perks are so good. In this new meta, it's capable of a 3-shot kill if you hit 3 headshots, and that is a very fast 3-shot kill. The Midnight Coup is still very deadly, which I'm very happy to see, because as you can see, it's my favorite weapon. I got 3,240 Crucible kills with this gun alone. It's when I'm having trouble in the Crucible, this is my go-to weapon. This is my default weapon. It's the one I rely on the most when I absolutely want to do well. I love the Midnight Coup. I love that it's still good. I will say, though, it's bugged right now. On PC specifically, I'm still not sure about consoles. Some people are saying that the bug is on consoles. Some people are saying it's not there. I know it's on PC. If you spawn in, you're going to find on a lot of hand cannons, Midnight Coup included, that you get a huge amount of reload. I made a video about this a couple of days ago. You get a huge amount of reload. As we've kind of learned more about this bug, it turns out that when you spawn in, if you just double tap escape on your keyboard, it will reset the recoil back to year one or pre 2.0 levels. And it is a bug. Bungie's addressed that it is a bug publicly. They are going to try and fix it, hopefully for the Forsaken 2.0.1 or 2.1, whatever the Forsaken update is on Tuesday. So hopefully that'll be fixed with all the other hand cannons. But when you spawn in with this right now, you do definitely want to hit that escape key twice to reset that recoil, because it can be the difference between hitting and missing and winning and losing an engagement. But I still love this gun. The 3-shot hand cannons at 150 rounds per minute are just fantastic. Next up, Vigilance Wing, still awesome. Better than it used to be. It's an amazing weapon. Nothing has changed with the Vigilance Wing. It's just gotten better. Antiope. So this is an interesting one. This is still a damn good weapon, and because it's got kill clip, of course, kill clip has always been the Antiope's strongest, kind of perk. The difference between pre-update 2.0 and post-update 2.0 is that the Antiope now has to compete for a slot in your inventory with shotguns. And while I think it can earn that slot because it's more useful at range, you can also make up for that deficiency with just a different weapon in your secondary slot. So it's a little hard to choose submachine guns. Submachine guns, to me, don't have a great, they don't have the purpose that they had pre-update 2.0. Pre-update 2.0, they were a great close-range weapon. Post-update 2.0, they're just not as good as shotguns. The shotguns are going to best submachine guns in most of the encounters that you get into, assuming that the shotgun is within range. Something like the Hawthorns here, with rapid fire, and that very fast round per minute time, it's hard to compete with a submachine gun against that gun because that can fire off 2 rounds very quickly and get the kill very quickly. And assuming you don't have a Guardian who's just running at you in a straight line down a corridor, it can be hard to deal with a shotgun with a submachine gun. Speaking of shotguns, my 2 favorites right now are Hawthorne's and Balligant. My favorite one is really Balligant. The reason I prefer Balligant is because it is a higher impact weapon, and I find that I personally get more one-shot kills with this shotgun than I do with Hawthorne. I find it slightly more reliable to get that first kill off, and when I don't get that first kill off, I'm usually within range to get a melee. The downside of it is if I'm just slightly out of range for that melee and I don't get that kill with the first shot, it's a much slower time to fire that second round than with the Hawthorne. So the Hawthorne, if you're just outside of that one shot kill range, then the Hawthorne is slightly better. And if you do get into a group of enemies, having that faster fire rate does help deal with a group of enemies at close range. But it's really a preference thing. I prefer the more reliable one-shot kill of the Balligant, but I could definitely see why you'd want a faster firing shotgun in the Crucible right now. And Hawthorne's is very good. We'll say that because you only get 2 shots every spawn in the Crucible, the Hawthornes can feel a little bit wasteful to me, especially if you just hold down the trigger for just a moment too long. It'll fire that second shot, and sometimes your opponent is already dead, so you're firing a shot into space. And that kind of sucks because then you are without shotgun ammo, whereas that's far less likely to happen with the Balligant. Another primary that I absolutely adore right now is the Nightshade. The Nightshade has kill clip on it, so it's a 450 round per minute pulse rifle that can 3 burst in normal mode, and if you get kill clip to proc, it can 2 burst. This thing will rip up the Crucible. It is a very, very good weapon now. I absolutely adore this weapon. It's kind of pulled me away from my hand cannon, primary love affair. The Nightshade is awesome. A lot of people are liking the Battle Scar. I see that as a less good Nightshade. It's got some advantages. Full auto trigger is very nice. You can also have extended mag, which is also nice. I prefer not to have full auto trigger on the weapon, though. The reason for that is that when I have full auto on a pulse rifle, because you are pulsing shots, you have to track your enemy's head very tightly and stay on it the whole time. Whereas if I am choosing when to pull the trigger, even if it's just slightly slower, I have that moment to, I lost the opponent's head, I'm going to come back, then I'm going to hit the trigger. I find not having the full auto trigger system makes me a more accurate shooter, plus kill clip is just such a good perk right now that I much prefer the Nightshade over the Battle Scar right now. Next up, Sweet Business is a monster right now. You got to pre-fire this thing to get it to be kind of the maximum it can be. The best time to kill it can have is like 0.6 something. It's really, really quick, but you have to pre-fire it. But it's very controllable once you're firing it. It's got that 99 round magazine, so you don't have to worry about running out of bullets halfway through an engagement. It is a monster right now. You don't see a whole lot of people using it. I think it's kind of, it doesn't have a lot of attention, but Sweet Business is really good. My fire team ran into a guy using it yesterday, and we were all like, oh my God, that Sweet Business is just wrecking us. Got to pre-fire it. You're alerting the enemy team that you are pre-firing because it's really loud, but, it's very hard to engage a pre-fired Sweet Business right now. It's a very, very strong weapon. Next up, the J Rabbit. I mean, this thing is a monster right now. 3-shot headshots. It's a very quick kill. You got to be accurate with it, but it's very good. It's very strong right now. Tefty is in love with this thing right now, and I don't blame him. It's a very strong weapon. So those are my favorite primaries right now. Of course, if you got other primaries that maybe I haven't tried out yet or that I haven't mentioned in this video, I'd love to hear about them down below. This is obviously somewhat time sensitive. People are playing in the 1 week meta and they want to know what the best weapons are right now because it's so much fun to try out some of these weapons that, weren't necessarily that good pre-update 2.0, but now they're fantastic. It's really fun to try these weapons out and learning about some of these kind of forgotten weapons. So if you got any good tips, put them down in the comment section below. I'll definitely be in there reading them. Telesto. Okay, we're moving on to our secondaries. Telesto. This thing is a beast in the Crucible. Obviously, it's a fusion rifle, so it takes some learning. It takes some timing. I think that, a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I think that fusion rifles are a somewhat high skill weapon because you have to pre-charge the weapon to get the kill. Telesto is a little bit easier to use than a regular fusion rifle because the way that the Telesto works is it basically has unlimited range because you're not so worried about the initial impact of your shot as you are with the shot sticking to your enemy and exploding. So as long as you hit them with enough of your shot that they will explode, you can be very far away with the Telesto. And it also has the utility of being able to, fire at the ground and blow up at somebody's feet. You can basically set little traps with the Telesto. This thing is, a lot of people think this is the bane of the Crucible right now and that it should be a power weapon. I don't know that I agree with that. I think it's a very strong weapon for sure. And it's definitely worth trying out. It's good for some laughs too. Cold Heart, I'm torn on. This gun rips people up in the Crucible. Like, it absolutely destroys people in the Crucible, especially if you can be accurate with it. The problem with it is that it comes with such a low amount of ammo. You can get into one engagement and probably get a kill with it if you are accurate. If you are not accurate though, you'll run out of ammo in your first engagement. It's like 30 rounds or so. It's really, really slow. Or it's really, really low. It comes with very little ammo. So if you're using this gun in the Crucible, you're constantly looking to pick up ammo and fill this thing up enough that you can get into one or two engagements before it runs out of ammo. Because once this thing runs out of ammo, you got to switch weapons, and then you could be dead by the time you switch weapons. But if you do have ammo for it, it's very good. I find it just a little too onerous to always be focused on the ammo. It's not like a shotgun where if I have a shot for my shotgun, that's one kill, right? The Cold Heart it's a little more obscured because 30 rounds could be a kill if I'm accurate. It could be this much life left on the other guy, but he's still shooting and I'm switching weapons. So Cold Heart, little hit or miss on. Not hit or miss on the inaugural address. I think this is one of the best weapons in the Crucible right now. Again, it's a pulse rifle. It's a little slower at 390 than the Nightshade. It does come with kill clip. It does come with outlaw. It is a dead stable weapon. It's very easy to kill with. I've never liked the sound of this weapon. I've never really liked the look of this weapon. But performance-wise, in the Crucible right now, it is able to two-burst kill Guardians with kill clip going, and it's just easy to use. The range is very good. If you haven't checked out Inaugural Address yet, do yourself a favor, try this gun out. It is very, very strong. Another strong weapon is the Badlands MK24. If you don't have one of these, it's just a really good secondary slot shotgun. Comes, again, with full auto trigger system. It's actually got slightly better stats here base than Hawthorne. So if you like that faster firing shotgun, the Badlands is a blue weapon. It's not a legendary weapon, but it's very, very strong. It's worth getting. My favorite sniper right now, and this is kind of, I don't have the strike specific sniper from the Pyramidian Strike. Everybody tells me that's a wonderful sniper. You have to get it. I just haven't been lucky enough to get it to drop. My go-to sniper right now has been the Valletta D. A lot of time I've invested into using the Raid Sniper. I've used the Maxim 11 Sniper a lot. What I find about the Valletta D is it's fast enough to use with quick draw, and I've got the the handling masterwork on it. I find that it's fast enough. It's not quite as snappy as a Maxim 11. That's by no means, but it does more damage. It's a higher impact sniper. And what that allows me to do is, I'm not that great a sniper, so I miss a lot of headshots. But if I hit a body shot and then I quickly switch to a hand cannon, I can get that kill. I can wrap that kill up pretty quickly. It's a risky maneuver. Guns kill very quickly now, so even the time it takes to just switch to a midnight Q, You may actually want to use a Dire Promise for that, because I think the Dire Promise has faster handling speed, and you may actually have more luck with that method with the Dire Promise. But the Vleda D, as opposed to the Maxim, which I'm more comfortable with as far as like bringing it up and firing very quickly, Vleda D feels a little bit slower, but I also feel that, like, because I'm not as good a sniper, I'm not as likely to hit those one-shot kills as consistently. If I do hit a body shot, I'm more likely able to follow it up with a hand cannon or another weapon to get the kill, because it does more damage. Fighting Lion, one-shot kills now. It's crazy. It's really, really good. If you haven't checked this out, it's definitely fun to use. I know a lot of people hate it right now. A lot of people think this one, as well as the Telesto, should be moved into the heavy slot. Look, the Fighting Lion, if you haven't tried it out yet, go give it a shot. It's a one-shot kill. You know, if you get a direct impact, it's a one-shot kill. It's a very strong weapon. It also uses primary weapon ammo, which I think is very strong. The fact that it uses primary ammo means that you're going to be able to use it a lot. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, if you haven't checked it out yet, check it out. It's pretty fun to use. It's not my personal preference to run around with it, just because, I don't know, I don't know why I don't love it as much as other people do, but it's definitely very strong, and it's worth mentioning here. We already talked about the Badlands. Let's move on to heavy. The one heavy that I really want to talk about is Play of the Game. Play of the Game has always been good, especially for a legendary. The reason that I think it's so amazing now is because its reliability to one-shot kill has gone up dramatically. When I used Play of the Game before Update 2.0, I always fired 2 shots. Every time I fired this gun at an enemy, I fired 2 shots, because it was capable of one-shot killing, but it wasn't reliable. Now it is reliable, so your heavy ammo now goes further with Play of the Game than it used to. Play of the Game is very strong right now. I highly recommend checking it out, especially if you're using your exotic slot in either your primary or secondary. If you're not, Warcliffe Coil. Watts told me about Warcliffe Coil last night. I checked it out in the Crucible this morning. Jesus, this thing is awesome. You get 2 shots with this thing, and it will just wipe people out. If you see a group of enemies and you've got this thing equipped, you just spray down that group of enemies, and they're going down. And this thing is very strong right now. If you haven't used the Warcliffe Coil, I think this is definitely a better option in most situations than a regular rocket launcher. It's a very strong heavy weapon right now. So those are my kind of favorite weapons in Update 2.0. My favorite Year 1 weapons in Update 2.0. There are more, and I want to hear your comments. I want to know what you guys are using, what you guys are loving after the update. You know, have you been using snipers? Have you been sticking to shotguns? What's your favorite shotgun? Have you been using a lot of fusion rifles? What's your favorite fusion rifle? I think there's a lot of options out there. It's going to be fun to see, you know, what everybody's best weapons are, what their favorites are, and those weapons that we're going to kind of, you know, we're not going to put in our collections just yet. We're going to see what's out there in the Forsaken DLC, and we're going to hold on to some of these other weapons as well, because some of these are just so good. It's going to be hard to beat a Midnight Q, in my opinion. This gun is so good. That 150 round per minute, I mean, it's as fast as a hand cannon can kill, unless you're talking about something exotic like the Sturm. It's so reliable, and it's got Rampage and Outlaw on it. It's just a wonderful gun. How do you make a better hand cannon? Like, even with random rolls, I'm not sure how you make a better hand cannon. And it'll also be interesting as we get the new armor with new perks on it. You can see, like, I got this Scatterhorn mask. This is a Forsaken helmet that I got from doing the flashpoint on Mars. The perks that I got on this thing, sniper rifle targeting. Look at this perk. Improved target acquisition. That's going to be great. Accuracy. That's going to be great. And aim down sight speed for sniper rifles. You're really going to be able to set up your armor to complement the loadout that you want to roll with. And that's something that was really minimized in Destiny 2 at launch. And I think this new armor perk system is going to help us out with that. And you're going to be looking for, you know, armor that is copacetic. Right now, you know, I got sniper rifle targeting and grenade launcher reserves. That's not bad if you're running a sniper rifle and a Play of the Game, right? Like, not a bad loadout. So it's going to be fun watching the armor and the weapons evolve after the Forsaken launch. But these are the weapons that I'm really in love with moving into Update 2.0. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time.